I was just glancing through your stuff, and you're putting out like 2 albums a year, which is a lot. A lot
Yeah.
of time in the studio, a lot of music. So, how do you manage to get all that in? And
hmm Yeah. Um, so like my projects are really concept. I feel like I'm gonna steer more away from the albums and mixtapes and stuff like that, and just go for singles.
Mhm.
Until when you start getting a loyal fan base and all that stuff, that's where you start dropping the albums and making people wait 2 years and then dropping it 3 years later. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, like adding they used to be conceptual albums, and all of my albums and projects are they have a meaning to them. They're not just a bunch of songs I threw into a folder and called it an album. I had actual from song to song to song to song. I was like, okay, what story is this telling, and what energy is it bringing? And a lot of times, I like to go from like low vibe, smooth vibe to strong, and then partying, and then how I'm mad at the world at the end. Sometimes it could go reverse. But 2 albums last year, Evolution was like, I feel like Heart of Flames and Evolution are my favorite albums. Um, but I do also feel like Evolution was the album that really helped me understand what it is like to actually be a creative, what you need to do and the steps you need to take, because Evolution was something I wrote down. I sat in here with the producer and he mixed and mastered it. And I wrote the songs very strategically and intricate and really made sure that I got my feelings out. So when I felt amazing, which is another song, I felt amazing. And I really put that on the microphone and really let the people know, like, this is how I feel, and ended up being a great song. So, yep, it's that's kind of how it goes. So now I feel like I'm transformed. I feel like I learned a lot in 2023 about music, and now it's just like keep that cruise line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what kind of set you up going into that album to think that you wanted to really take a strategic approach with it? Not that you weren't with the other ones, but you kind of mentioned that this was like a new stage. And what
Yeah,
what kind of prompted that?
big time. Uh, B Foz, my producer, ended up saying, well, he sent some beats in or whatever, and I was just, I met him a year or two before, and then we started actually getting locked in, and the beats were hitting, and I was like, yo, like this is just, do you want to work together and shit like that? All right, cool, let's make an album and this and that, and then the first song, the first beat, the first song that we made, it was like, do we drop this, or all right, that's how it went. It's like, do we drop this, or should we just kind of make a something like that? So yeah, that then I actually was like, okay, cool. And I feel like this song was Golden Hour. Yep, we made Golden Hour, and then we scratched the song, and then we made Golden Hour how it should go, but then we went back and backtracked a little bit. What is like a song that has this emotion, and how many songs in this album can we have that makes sense for the energy of the project? And then yeah, I kind of dove deep and I wrote really hard on these songs, and I was going back and fixing them, and writing before I even recorded. I was like fixing the lyrics and revising, and that's kind of what's going on with this. Yeah, with the album. So it kind of caught up with itself. We started from making a song and then turned it into an album, and I wanted to try something, and I wanted to try to actually focus on making a conceptual album. So yeah, that's kind of how it went.
That's cool. I think I understand the transition to singles, and like I get the streaming potential of it. But I think it's really cool at the same time to, even if there's not like the monetary gain as much as there used to be from putting out an album, but I think it's cool to create a piece like an album, that has multiple songs that are cohesive, and like I think even if it doesn't lead to a lot of streams, that's something to be pretty proud of because there's not a lot of artists that are doing that.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, it isn't even about like, it is about the streams, 100%, but it's also about how you feel about it, right? Like how they say,
Hmm.
it's very cliche, but it's the truth. Like you should feel so confident in your music, and you should be happy to let people hear it. Whoever hears it, I hope you like it. Not, how many can I get on this song? Because I feel like
Hmm.
that's how you really fall down. Like what you expect isn't what you get, and then you start feeling discouraged. But I was more like, oh, I can't wait for people to hear that. And that's how I feel on every song I release. Can't wait for people to hear this. Just people. It doesn't matter how many. It's just like how many people hear it, you know. And yeah, I feel like it's
Well, I
more
think that's the
so.
secret.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think that's the secret to like enjoying a career in any creative field is enjoying the product you create and then like being grateful for the people who see it or hear it. Because if you get caught up in the ups and downs, it's constant up and down world where you have some control over like the ups and the downs, but I feel like it's so random. Like a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
people will be messing with your stuff and nobody does, and then that's important mindset to have going about it, I think.
yeah, like yeah, just kind of and upgrading your sound also. Like I feel like people shouldn't make songs that they feel like uh isn't gonna reach a shit ton of people, and a shit ton of people aren't gonna like it. If a shit ton of people aren't gonna like it, I mean, at least you like it, but just know that these people may or may not like it. Not like to be passive aggressive about it, but I feel like you should shoot for making shit that you like, but that most people like.
Hmm.
So
So, as far as making stuff that you like, what has been your favorite? I know you've released a bunch of songs, but if you had to pick one song that you like the most proud of and you like the most, what would it be?
that I'm the most proud of Armageddon. I feel like
Armageddon?
Armageddon was something like Evolution balled up in one song. It has
Yeah.
all that. It has all of this energy in it, and it's so like it's so strong and it's so passionate. And I feel like that melody that we were talking about, it really brings the song and glues it all together. Uh, um, and it's about something important. Like it's about the city in Minnesota right now. We're in this little situation where, everybody, all the creatives, we're all like, yeah, Minnesota music. Yeah, Minnesota music. What about everybody else? You know, like, what about the whole like city and everything like that? And I feel like this. Um, I feel like I care about Minnesota so much, and I need Minnesota to be. I need Minnesota to be, at least speaking for myself, to be that state like they call Chicago and Illinois and out there in California and all these places. We need to be able to. We have what it takes. We just need to get there. And if I can be the one to do that, and nobody else is going to, fucking sign me up. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what it's about. And it's not cocky, but it's like, okay, if you guys just know that you can trust me, you know? So that's like what Armageddon's about. That's my favorite song right now.
That's awesome. No, I think you bring up a really good point with that. I think Minneapolis is an incredible city. Like, there's no way you go where you can have the city and nature the way that it is here. And there's so many unique aspects to the Twin Cities that make it so awesome outside of the crappy winters. But like,
To where
there's so much that it offers, and I think your you said something that's a little bit different than how most people say it. Most people are like, they're concerned about creating something that reaches a different area. And you phrased it as, I want to bring this area to other places, which is a different,
I'm
it's
glad you
not,
got that. I'm
yeah,
glad you
it's not,
you got that. Yeah, you got that.
it's
Hmm.
not me like, come look at me here and I'm here. It's come look at us and come look at like what we got going on over here.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like the whole scene. And a lot of people do say, Rico, why don't you go out here? Let's go to Atlanta, manager. Atlanta. Let's go to Atlanta. Let's go to Tampa, Florida. All these places. And I really want to grow here. I feel like it's essentially easy to go out in other places and stay out there for a year or two and fucking blow up. I don't
Hmm.
know, but I want it. I want the tough thing. If Minnesota on is the hardest thing and it's the last thing I ever do, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I want to do. Not go out to other places and then do everything everybody else did, and don't even put Minnesota on. Like they get lit and don't even put us on. That's
Yeah.
crazy.